All right, so you're crushing those case studies, right? Your LinkedIn network is looking amazing. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a real, honest to goodness conversation with a friend? Today, we're going to talk about male loneliness. And look, this isn't about weakness. We're going to frame this as a strategic challenge, one that directly impacts your performance, your leadership, and your well being. And the best part, we've got a practical playbook to help you tackle it. So let's just start with a quick reality check. You're climbing that corporate ladder, your network is expanding every single day, but does all of that actually translate into a real support system? When the pressure is really on, who's that person you actually call? For a lot of successful, ambitious men, the honest answer is, well, no one. And let's be clear, this isn't just some feel-good topic. The quality of your personal connections, that directly impacts your resilience, your decision-making, and yeah, even your capacity to lead. Think of it like a performance metric that most of us just completely ignore. Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to define the problem. Then we'll dig into what's really causing it. After that, we're getting into the good stuff. Two powerful strategies called active connection and emotional openness. And we'll wrap it all up with some key takeaways you can actually use. All right. First things first, let's get a really clear picture of what we're even talking about here. What exactly is this silent epidemic of loneliness? So what are we really getting at? Look, it's not just about being alone in a room. It's a very specific kind of isolation. It's fueled by this pressure to be the rock, always strong, always in control. But the real irony here is that this exact pressure is what forces us to pull away, shrinking the very support system we need to actually be strong in the first place. Okay, so that's the what. Now let's play doctor for a second and diagnose the why. What are the root causes that are really driving this problem? What's so interesting here is that it's like a perfect storm of factors. You've got these huge societal pressures to be stoic and unemotional. And then you combine that with the practical realities of life, right? Friendships start to fade after college because your career just takes over. And frankly, there's just no time. It's like a slow, systematic erosion of connection. And this slide, wow, it just perfectly illustrates the core conflict. The script that society often hands to men says, be self-reliant, handle it yourself, whatever you do, don't show emotion. But that script is the exact opposite of what you need to build deep, meaningful connections. Because those rely on vulnerability, on sharing, and on being able to ask for help. Okay, so that's the problem. But we're not here to just talk about problems, we're here for solutions. So let's jump into our first strategy. I like to think of this one as building connection through action, not just words. So what is active connection? Well, it's all about creating friendships shoulder to shoulder, instead of always having those intense face-to-face conversations. It's about using shared activities, could be sports, hobbies, projects, whatever, to create a natural, super low-pressure environment where those bonds can just form. So how do you actually do this? It's a simple 3-step playbook. Super easy. Step 1, find a shared interest. Sports, tech, trekking, anything. Step 2, find your group, your tribe. Could be a club, a team, a hobby group. And step 3, and listen, this is the most critical part. You have to be consistent, show up regularly. You just can't build trust if you're not there. That familiarity, that's the foundation of any real friendship. And think about this in a context you already know. Let's say you join a weekend trekking club with some colleagues. It's not really just about the hike, is it? It's about building those informal ties, outside of the office, away from project deadlines and hierarchies. In a way, it's networking, but for your well-being. Okay, so active connection gets you in the door. It gets you in the room with people. But our second strategy, emotional openness, now this is what turns those acquaintances into a real, genuine support system. And I'll be honest, this one takes a little more courage. So emotional openness, it's really about making a conscious choice to go beyond the small talk. It's the practice of actually sharing what's going on in your life. I'm talking the challenges, the wins, the uncertainties, with people you've decided you can trust. You could almost say it's the currency of a deep friendship. But how do you even practice this without it feeling, well, super awkward? Okay, first try what's called parallel play. That just means talking about real stuff while you're doing something else together, like driving or working out at the gym. Second, make a point to verbally express appreciation. A simple, hey man, thanks for your help on that, goes such a long way. And finally, just start small. You don't have to spill your guts. Just share one minor challenge with one trusted friend and see what happens.
I mean, think about your case competition team, right? Or that late night study group you're in. It's designed to solve a problem. But what if it also becomes a safe space to talk about the insane pressure you're under or your anxieties about your career? Well, that's when it transforms from just a team into a powerful support system, one that's going to last way beyond this semester.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground, so let's boil all of this down into a final executive summary. The key actions you can start taking like today. If there's one thing to remember, it's this. Connection does not happen by accident. It takes intention, it takes work. So here's your checklist. Number one, schedule it. Literally, call a friend in your calendar just like a business meeting. Number two, find your shoulder to shoulder activity. Number three, pick your inner circle. Maybe just one or two friends you can start practicing being more open with. And finally, number four, make checking in with them a non negotiable habit. It's really about building a system for your social health, just like you would for your physical health. So let's end with this. Look, all this knowledge is just potential, right? Action is where the real power is. So my question to you is this. What is the one small step you're going to take this week to strengthen your personal support network? Is it sending a text, making a call, finally joining that club you've been thinking about? Remember, your network might be your net worth, but your connections, they're your lifeline. Thanks so much for joining me.